Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I need to make a confession, and that is that I'm a huge quitter. I quit games all the time for a variety of reasons, some good, some bad, some that you'll agree with, and some you'll just be totally dumbfounded by. And I'm gonna mention a couple games today, and they fall into one of three categories: games that I stopped playing and I need to finish, I want to finish them, games that I might go back to, and games that I'm definitely done with. I'm definitely not going back to them. So let's get started. The first game is kind of a weird one, and it's back on the Game Boy, and it is, can we get that to focus? Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. Now, this was a game that I played, a long time ago, and I got to, I think, the last dungeon of the game, and there's this part where you're throwing like an orb around, and there's these blocks that, you hit a switch and they raise up or go down, and at one point the ball got stuck and I couldn't get back to it, so I couldn't solve the puzzles in the dungeon. And I swear at the time I tried everything to try to get the ball back so I could beat the dungeon, and for some reason, I don't know, I think the game just glitched, and I tried dying, I'm sure, to reset the game, but at that time I was just like, okay, I don't want to restart the game from the beginning, but I basically just gave up. I think I need to put this back into my Game Boy and see if it still has my save on there, if I can figure out what went wrong. Two games that, again, I got nearly to the end, but I just randomly put them down, and that is from Final Fantasy series. So that is Final Fantasy IV. I'm literally on the moon. I'm pretty sure I'm about to go, face the final boss, the final encounter of the game. But I just walked away from it, and I want to go back. I need to see how the story ends. And also Final Fantasy VI. You get to a point in the game where it's, well, I don't want to say too much, but there's a variety of different things that you can do. A variety of different areas that you can go to accomplish some different tasks, and I just felt like it wasn't, I had lost my way. I'll just say that I wasn't sure which way to go, and the map, I'll just say, was hard to navigate at that time. So that's a game that I definitely need to finish. It's just based on what I've played so far, it is probably one of my top 3 Final Fantasies for sure. So I need to see how that finishes also. Another game in the same way, I got to a point where the game got very non-linear. I could go to the final boss, or I could go and complete a couple different side quests or optional quests, and that is Chrono Trigger. Yes, it's, again, one of my favorite games from what I've played only, but I haven't seen the end. So I definitely need to go back to that one. And for both of those games, I'm sure I only have like an hour or 2 left. I don't know why I just haven't taken a day and finished those up, but I haven't. Now, a game that I want to go back and finish, but I'm going to need a little help, is Final Fantasy VIII. I am probably in disc 2, and I think I get to a point where you go to like a missile base, and there's a boss there, and it just kept one-shotting me. And I got really, really frustrated. I looked up a GameFAQ to figure out how do I beat this boss, and they were talking about all these things. You need to build up this GF ability, and you need to do this, and you need to use this ability. I didn't have any of those, and I understand that there's this weird way that you can play the game, where you can get, overpowered or build up certain abilities. I got really frustrated because I thought, I shouldn't need a guide just to beat a boss in a game, right? It should be within the, the natural ability of the natural progression of the game. And again, I know Final Fantasy VIII has this weird controversy around the junction system and just the overall combat. So I want to go back to it. I'm not sure when or how I'll do it, because the guide wasn't helping me either. So. Final Fantasy IX, another game that I quit, and to make a long story short, the main character, Zidane, he has like this monkey tail, and one day I was playing it, and I was just watching him walk around the screen. It really weirded me out. I have this thing where, with like humans and animal features, where when you mix them, it really weirds me out, right? Growing up, we had a dog, and there was a time when it had like some health issue where it had to wear like this kind of like a diaper thing, and I couldn't even look at the dog. It was just so weird. It was just so weird to see that. And in the same way, I could not stand looking at Zidane with his monkey tail. Do I want to go back to finish it? I suppose. I'm about halfway through the game, and yeah, maybe I'll finish it. Another Final Fantasy game that I quit playing, Final Fantasy 13. Now, I'm sure you're saying, of course, you know, Final Fantasy 13. Who didn't want to stop playing that game? No, that's not true. I enjoyed the game. I was really getting into it, but unfortunately, I was playing it on PC, on Steam, and the game kept crashing. I had to like uninstall it and reinstall it. It was breaking all the time. I tried to repair it. Whatever I was doing, it would work like 1 out of 10 times. So on top of my computer being really slow, I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. There's other games to play. And now I've even got a new computer, so I'd have to get out my old computer. It's really slow now, so a game that I want to go back to play, but not in the meantime. And one more Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 15. This is a weird reason. I was trying to learn how to do magic spells, and there's this system where you have to make a magic spell in a flask, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Maybe I missed something in a tutorial, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. I looked up online for like very explicit directions, but I couldn't find anything. So I got frustrated. I quit. I don't have a PS4 anymore, so unless they bring this game out like a remaster on Switch 2, I won't be finishing this game either. Okay, another game that I won't be finishing in the meantime, Twilight Princess. Notice that this is this version, it's the Wii version. I will not be playing this game on the Wii. Maybe if they remaster it and bring it out on the Switch 2, but I will not be finishing the Wii version because I have played this game twice. I've gotten through a couple dungeons. I think maybe the fire dungeon. I love the dungeons in this game. They're really good, but I'm not playing with the Wii controls anymore. It just makes my arm tired using that Wiimote. And yeah, if I could get the GameCube version, I would play it for sure. If it was on the Switch, I would play it for sure, because it's one of the only Zelda games that I've never beat. But the Wii version, not playing it. Another game I would like to finish, Octopath Traveler 2. What happened with this game? As you know, this is a long game, I'm sure. There's 8 characters, 8 separate stories that you have to finish. I decided, because I played the first game, really liked it, I decided I'm going to pick 4 characters that I like their stories best, and I'm just going to finish those. I'm not going to do all 8 at the same time, because it's going to be 100 hours. So I'm just going to pick 4, play those as my party, and I'll play the game. It's going to be great. Well, I looked down that road. Have you ever done this with a game? You look down that road, see how far it is to the end, and you check out how long does it take to beat this game. I just kept thinking about it. Do I really want to dedicate that time? Do I really want to dedicate all those hours to playing this game? And I think there must have been another game that I wanted to play at the time, so I put it down. I put it down. But I thought the stories were really good. They were starting, I finished all the chapter 1s, and I probably started a chapter 2, but the stories were a lot better than the first one. So I'm excited to go back to it eventually. I love the combat system, and look forward to completing it in the future. Now to end, I want to talk about a couple of games that I most definitely will not be going back to finish. I've made that decision, not finishing these games. The first one being, controversial pick, I know, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I picked this game up basically on the recommendation of a YouTuber named Xenogamer. And this video that he made basically saying, hey, Breath of the Wild was a little bit light on story, we can all agree on that. It had a great world for exploration. If you want a similar game, great world, great exploration, but a better story, more epic story, then Xenoblade Chronicles is the game that you need to play.
So all I ask of you is you at least join me. Give me this small section of your time to attempt to show you why, if you enjoy The Legend of Zelda, you will love Xenoblade Chronicles.
So he really sold me on it. I picked it up. Again, great reviews all around, heavily recommended. And I started playing. The battle system takes a little bit to get used to, but I was okay with it. I was good. And then one day I'm playing, I'm about 20 hours in. I think I got to this Nopon village, Frontier Village, I think it's called. And I get to the village, I'm doing some side quests, which I don't really like in the game. I think the side quests are very kind of fetch questy. And I find myself falling asleep. You know, I wake up, okay, all right. And a couple minutes later, I'm dozing off again. And I thought, you know, maybe I just didn't get a great night of sleep. Maybe it's been a long day. Who knows? So I put it down. You know, I went on with my day. A couple days later, I'm playing again, and lo and behold, I'm dozing off again. Weird, very weird. And my wife walks into the room as I'm playing the game. And she looks at me, and I, you know, snap out of it, and I look at her, and she says, "Uh-oh, that's not a very good sign for this game, is it?" And I said, "Oh man." I was like, unfortunately, this is not the first time that I've fallen asleep playing that game. And I don't know if it was because she said that, but I never went back to it at that time. I actually got rid of the game. I traded it. And it's funny because the game that I traded it for was Skyrim. And Skyrim is actually another game that I quit playing and I won't be going back to it. Why is that? You know, I start the game, make a character, you're in this cart in the beginning of the game, you're going towards your execution. And, you know, I move the camera because I hear somebody talking, and I move the camera to go look at them, and it goes in the opposite direction of the direction that I moved it in. And I realize, oh, okay, I have to change my controls because, I mean, put your pitchforks down, but I use inverted controls. Okay, don't kill me. I use inverted controls. I know I'm in the minority here, but it's just what makes sense to me. And so I go to switch the controls to inverted. Great, invert one of the axes, and there's no option to invert both axes. Why? That makes no sense. It makes no sense to invert one and not the other. I imagine that this could be just a simple update in the game. Again, this is a Switch version, by the way. Maybe it's that way in other versions, but it's not that way in the Switch version. And you might be thinking, no, that can't be. There's no way that that's possible. I will show a screenshot of the menu, and you can see that there's only one direction that you can invert. And you might say, okay, well, just learn to play without inverted controls. Trust me, I tried. I honestly put in about 15 to 20 hours, but it's so hard to play a game when it's not your natural orientation. When you want to look one way and you have to very consciously say, I know that I normally press the stick right to look left, but I have to press left to look left. Again, it makes sense to you. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? It doesn't feel natural. And even after 15 to 20 hours, I had to be so conscious of what I was doing that it started to give me a headache. It gave me a headache whenever I played the game. And also, you just aren't able to play as well. You make mistakes. You get into, fights, and you are looking at the ground. Everybody's done that before, right? You're just staring at the ground because you panic, you do what's natural, and you end up dying. So I got rid of the game. I'm not playing the game. I think it's probably a really good game, but until they update that version and I hear about it, I won't be playing it, at least not on the Switch.
I quit playing Skyrim because it didn't have inverted controls. I tried my hardest to persevere, but I kept getting headaches from playing. I thought so too.
It doesn't?
I think so. But maybe, I'm citation needed.
All games has inverted controls as an
too.
Option at least.
I thought so too.
What?
Citation needed.
Now, the final game that I need to talk about is another, again, game of the year for people that people will kill me for. And it does have inverted controls. Thankfully, it does have inverted controls. But the final game that I will not be going back to is Elden Ring. I mean, number one, I don't have a PS4 anymore. I sold it. So I don't have a PS4 to play it on, or a PS5. I picked this game up with the hope that it was the next Breath of the Wild. That's what people were saying. Best open world since Breath of the Wild. And Breath of the Wild was my favorite game of all time. It's my favorite world to explore. And that's what everyone was saying. We've never seen a world like this since Breath of the Wild. There's so many little caves to explore and discoveries to make, treasures to find. Great, this is for me. Mind you, I've never played a Souls game before. So, start playing, make my character, do this little tutorial cave, great. I realize this is something I'm gonna have to get better at because I'm not great at the combat yet. But, I'll get used to it. And everyone talks about leaving this cave, opening up this door, and being introduced to the world, the beautiful open world. And I agree. I thought it was great. Everyone compares that to leaving what's called the Shrine of Resurrection in Breath of the Wild. You go out, you see the world, it pans around. There's so much to explore. It's there for your taking. And I thought it was great. That's good. And I started to explore the world. I realized, I'm dying a lot, of course. I beat my first boss in a cave, and there was a little bit of satisfaction, but not as much as I had hoped. I felt no joy from it. I just felt stressed. Just walking around the world, I just felt stressed. I thought, what's going to come around the next corner, and stress me out, really. I beat a couple areas in the game with some sequence of enemies. I had to figure out, I have to sneak around this way and do this and that. But I got no joy from it. And that's the thing that the game didn't have. It had no joy, had no charm. When I think about Breath of the Wild, I think it's just charming. I was not getting that from Elden Ring. Nor does it promise charm. It doesn't promise charm to the player. But that's what I was looking for. And what stands out to me most, of all the stress that I felt, what stands out to me most is that Limgrave theme. That song that is playing the entire time when you're walking around, and it's just haunting. It is stressful. It makes me feel so tense. And again, some people like that. That's for some people. It's not for me. Because even when I just listen to the song, when making this video, it stresses me out. It stresses me out. And it brings me back to that time where I did not have fun playing that game. So, anyways, those are my reasons for quitting those games. Do you have any weird reasons for quitting games? Like the main character has a monkey tail. Please tell me something weirder than that. And I would love to hear it. And anyways, I'll see you in my next video.